Welcome to Shape of the City. I'm Clover Frederick, and I'll be your host. We often hear the expression, "It takes a village to raise a child." Two local organizations, the Salvation Army of Lincoln and the Lincoln Police Department, have stepped up to help give kids in our community a safe place to meet up with peers and a chance to get to know the officers protecting the streets. Joining me today is Stanford Bradley from the Salvation Army and Captain Jason Stille from LPD. Thank you both for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Now let's start with Stanford. Tell me a little bit about the youth programs at the Salvation Army of Lincoln.
Well, we have our traditional things that we've had for years. First off, the Salvation Army is a church before anything, so we always have church every Sunday morning. And then we have our after-school program, which is a staple in our community. We've done it for over 50 years in the same location. We have our food basket program where people who are low on food can come down and get a food basket. And we also have our heat share program where if you're running low and you need a utility paid, we don't want you to get shut off, come down and you can get some help from us.
Great. What are some of the goals of your programming there?
Our basic goal is to make sure that the needs for the community are met, as best as possible. So making sure the kids, when they come in, they have access to homework help and they're able to get their homework done and return it to school the next day, and make sure that all of our kids are on track to be successful in life.
Very good. Now, either of you, could you answer for me, describe Shields United, what that program is and how it got started?
Well, Shields Unite is a program partnership with the Lincoln Police Department and actually the City of Lincoln and Salvation Army, where we get kids engaged in activities that also have police officers in those same activities. And these kids are able to meet the police officers, talk to the police officers, develop relationships with these police officers, just in case, Lord forbid, that one day this officer has to, give this kid a ticket or, engage during his job with this kid. And, they could already have a relationship in place. And instead of, taking this kid to the detention center, maybe he's able to reach him and take him home and talk to a parent and, not get him involved in the system so early and just try to help him outside of the judicial system.
Right. Now, Captain Stille, what kind of impact have you seen from this program?
I think it's been very beneficial from us. Going into this program, we had two main goals, and one of them was to provide a pro-social activity for the kids, something fun that they could get involved in. And then the other one was in response to this anti-police rhetoric that's been going on around the nation, high-profile events that have happened. And we're starting to hear, even from youth here, that we don't like the police and they may have never had any interaction with the police department. So what we try to do is we get the kids involved with officers in the neighborhood. We remove this uniform, which I put on every day, and I don't notice it, but it can be a barrier to communication, especially for kids. So we put them on an even playing field, and then this program is very democratic. So the kids have a lot of say in what foods they eat, what activities they do, events that they want to talk about, and it's just been a really positive interaction between us and the youth in that community.
Great. Are there stories that you could tell that you've seen?
It's not a story. It's just it's just something that happened. Is the very first meeting, we didn't let the kids know that there were police officers that were volunteering to be a part of the club. And so, we had the whole meeting and we talked about different social issues that were going on. And, one of them was, the police shootings and things like that. And the kids, the comments that they made, were, I don't know if I would like an officer, if I met him, I don't know what I would say to him. I don't know what type of relationship I would ever be able to have with a police officer. And at the end of that meeting, we tell them, we say, well, you know me, I'm Stanford Bradley, I'm the director of the Salvation Army. And then the officers introduced themselves, and the kids were dumbfounded. They were in awe that these police officers are just like us. They wake up every morning, they send their kids off to school. They want the best thing for the city. They want the best thing for these kids. And until they take that uniform off, a lot of kids don't view them in that way. So it just broke down a lot of barriers. And those same kids invited their friends the next week and say, hey man, I know some police officers that are a little cooler than you thought they would be, you know, and then those officers also actually brought their kids, you know, and so for a police officer to bring his own kids to a program that we're doing, you know, kind of speaks volumes for the kids that are in the program, the people we have running the program, and that, you know, he kind of has some faith that we're doing the right thing.
Very good. Good. Now, why is a program like this so important in our community?
I think from our standpoint, we often hear about the voting members, and we get calls about an activity or an event that goes on, and people want to weigh in on it. The kids are part of that community, but we don't normally hear from them. Right. So I got into this job, and all the officers that I work with got into this job to make a difference, and we're members of the community. I want to hear from everybody, it would really break my heart to hear somebody say that they don't feel like they're represented by their police department, or they don't have a say, they don't have a voice, and a lot of the kids feel that way. So I think getting those kids their opinions and having the officers interact with them, they know they can see us as people, they can see us as community members and not just as officers, and that's really beneficial for us.
And then from the kid side of it is, a lot of the kids that we deal with, you know, have not had any interaction with police officers unless they've seen a family member arrested, or mom arrested, or dad arrested, or a brother or sister. So their sense of policing is bad from the start, you know. So this program's important, you know, just to break down those barriers and start some communication where kids feel comfortable interacting with police officers.
Right. What sort of impact have you seen on the police officers themselves that have been involved in this program?
Very excited. So we have 3 officers, 2 of them on the center team, which I command, which is at 27th and Holders, just a short walk from the Salvation Army, which makes this a great marriage. Right. And then another officer from the Northwest team. And I hear about, they'll come in and they'll share pictures that they've taken, or, you know, talk about the activities. And so they are very engaged with this. They're very, I mean, I think, dumbfounded and awestruck by the relationship that they have built up. And so it's really neat. It puts a smile on your face when they come running in, you know, on a Monday morning or something, and they say, hey, this is what we did this week.
Very good. What advice do you have for other communities or organizations that are interested in starting a program similar to this?
I would say that a good plan today is better than a perfect plan, you know, later on down the road. So just jump in with both feet, find a partner. Stanford really, and the officers that make this program, they make it what it is. And, you know, when I see the youth interact with Stanford, they respect him. They know if you talk to Stanford for any length of time, you know that he is absolutely committed to the youth in this community, and the passion just resonates with people. So for us, it was very easy to establish a program with people that are so connected. Other communities can do the exact same thing. You just find the right partners, you jump in with both feet, and tweak it as necessary.
Good.
And that's the biggest thing, is just finding people that care, finding people that want to make a difference, and you know, that have stake in the community, you know. And you know, I tell people all the time that my payment, you know, for what I do is each year I get to go down to the Pinnacle Center and watch kids walk across the stage and graduate high school. That's something I was never able to do, you know. So every time that they invite me down, I make sure I'm there, and you know, that's the reward in it, is seeing these kids move on and become prosperous, and, you know, come back and, you know, help Lincoln become the great city, and continue to be the great city that it is.
Very good. Now, if somebody watching is interested in getting involved somehow, what can they do?
Give me a call.
Okay.
The number is 402-474-6263. My extension is 1508. If I'm not there, leave a message. I always return the call, and we want as many reputable volunteers and kids. If you need something to do and you want to build some leadership skills, and you want to have some activities where you know things are going to be safe, and you're going to have reliable people who look out for you and make sure your well-being is taken care of, come on down. We'd love to have you.
Well, thank you both so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot.